Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at the Hollywood Racks Destination 4-bike platform rack here on our 2014 Honda Odyssey. The Destination 4 is probably one of my favorite entry-level priced bike racks that still deliver the stability of a platform rack without having to spend too much. We'll talk about the features and what makes it one of the best in its category, but we are going to focus on the Honda Odyssey here today so you can see how it works with your car and what is going to be the better fit for you, your different types of vehicles, and your different types of bikes. So the first thing about this bike rack is, like most entry-level racks, this does not tilt away with the bikes on. So if you want to open up your hatch, this would not be the best option for you with the bikes on. You may want to consider something like the Kuat Transfer V2 4-bike rack instead. But if you do want to access your hatch, you are going to have to take at least this bike off first. So what types of bikes can you have loaded onto this rack? Well, you have 3 touch points, so 1 and 2 are going to be your wheel straps, and the third is going to be the frame mount. I really like that frame mount style for this rack because some of the other racks have hooks that come down. So if you have your children's bikes or your women's bikes or your step-through bikes, sometimes you need to get a frame adapter bar. This makes it a lot more versatile, plus you don't have to lift as high to get over that mast. With the bike off, we get to take a closer look at the bike rack itself. So this has a weight capacity of 35 pounds per bike, which isn't that much if you have extra heavy electric bikes, but okay for most of your bikes. You do have these wheel straps which can pivot back and forth, and that's going to be for your different wheelbases. You can actually move this up and down the wings or the cradles of your bike rack just to get the best fit. And then on the straps themselves, you have a rubber piece. You're going to have to center that over your wheel to make sure you have that grip as well as that cushion on your wheel. You also have your frame mount, and I do like how this is designed. You have the little grips here as well as the openings for your brake line. This goes around your frame and secures it. I do like also how you have that up, down, left, right, and even rotational movement for those frames of different shapes and different sizes. Now, can you open up your hatch with the bike off? Not yet. You are going to have to lower that mast. It's a little bit of a process, but definitely doable. So you're going to have to rotate the knob just enough where you can take that anchor off of it. Once that's off, you just tighten that back down, and then you're going to drop that mast. So you have different options here. You can use either the mast straps or the wheel straps to secure it, whichever works best for you. I just personally recommend switching it around every now and then. That way not one strap is overused. And with the mast down, we can now open up our hatch of our Honda Odyssey, get into our trunk, grab whatever we need. So whether it's our bags, our helmets, our waters, we can now grab them real quick before we go and hit the road again. The downside is that you are going to have to take your bikes off, so it is going to take a bit more time. With the ability to carry around a lot of bikes, you also have a lot of length added to the back of your vehicle, although this is probably going to be one of the most compact 4-bike platform racks that is available. So measuring from the bumper all the way out to our white reflectors at the end of the rack, it sits at 37 inches of length added to the back of our Odyssey, which is pretty good. It's still a measurement though to keep in mind when you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a tight spot. Since you already have a longer vehicle, if you have a small garage, this would be a good measurement to know if you have enough space. Now another measurement is going to be ground clearance. Measuring at the end of the rack to the ground, it sits at 17 inches. The center of the rack to ground is going to be 21.25 inches, but compare that to where the shank is, and that is only 10 inches. So you definitely have the shank rise where it goes higher up, and that way your bikes are higher up off the ground, helpful when you go up those steep inclines like those extremely steep driveways or hills. Now, if you're not planning on going out for a bike ride just yet, but you also don't want to take your bike rack off, or if you found that your garage does not have enough space for the bike rack in a down position, but you still want to get it ready on your vehicle, what you can do is move it into the portable or compact position. To do so, you have this clip here, and that's holding in this bolt. You just loosen that, pop that out, let that hang, and now you can just lift up on the rack. And it's actually pretty lightweight for a 4-bike platform rack. Easy enough to lift up right until those holes line up again, and you're gonna pop that bolt right back in. Don't forget to put the clip in place too. And just like that, we're in the portable and compact position. This is also how you'll have it stored in your garage so it doesn't take up too much space. Let's take some more measurements. It looks like it comes close to our vehicle, but there's actually a good amount of clearance here. You're just gonna wanna make sure that your frame mount straps are all the way in, and then you're gonna have 1.5 inches of clearance between the bike rack and the car. Now this is pretty sturdy. You don't have as much movement there, so it's not gonna get any closer than that. The length this now adds the back of our vehicle though is from the bumper to that hinge, 9 inches. So big difference compared to when this was folded down. You'll want it in this position when you're just planning on driving around town and you don't want to take up more space than you already are. But what is it like living with a bike rack behind you all the time? Well, again, this is going to be one of our more compact 4-bike racks. So with it folded up like this, we're not even above where that windshield is. So that means we're going to have a good view through our rear window. It does kind of cover our taillights, but you'll still see most of the taillights over to this side. Now, our backup camera and our license plate are going to be covered a little bit though. This isn't as bulky as some of the other tray designs. So what's going to happen is when you put it into reverse, you'll definitely see the bike rack in your view, but you'll also kind of be able to see the view of the cars and the environment behind you. So this fits right into our 2-inch hitch receiver, and then we have an anti-rattle bolt. Now a lock is included, but because of how we have our 7-way wiring set up, we weren't able to put the lock onto the end to tighten it down. In that case, I do recommend using a clip. Now that anti-rattle bolt uses a 3/4 inch socket to tighten down. We have extras of those if you need to add that in order to keep that in your car. But with that anti-rattle bolt, you can see here as I shake our bike rack back and forth by the shank or even by the rack itself, I'm really moving the vehicle at this point. That's because that connection there is nice and secure. If you think there's a little bit of extra movement, just double check that bolt where you tighten it down to fold it up, because that could also be a point of contact. Again, this is probably going to be one of your more compact as well as affordable 4-bike platform racks. The downside is that you can't tilt it away in order to access your hatch, and you don't have integrated locks with this rack. You also don't have that great weight capacity, so if you have those extra heavy electric bikes, probably not going to be the best fit for you. You may want to consider something a bit more premium, like the Kuat Transfer V2, or even something like the Kuat NV 4-bike platform rack. Those are going to be a lot larger, also have a bit more features. You can check out our videos of those if you want to compare, but this is still a great and solid choice. It definitely checks off most of those boxes and allows you to carry around multiple bikes safely and securely as a platform rack at the price of a similar hanging rack. So definitely something worth considering for your Honda Odyssey. This was a look at the Hollywood Racks Destination 4-bike platform rack here at eTrailer, and my name is Evangeline.